Republican presidential candidates are in Florida. They are in Orlando, in fact, for a gathering of what the state Republican Party is actually calling the Sunshine Summit. You're looking at Jeff Atwater there at the stadium at the moment, giving them this giving them all a chance to win over the state's Republicans before the state's presidential primary. Of course, that is set for March. The Now's Michael Williams is there on the ground. He's joining us with the issues that they're talking about there. Michael?
Good afternoon. It's Christmas in November. If you're a Republican political junkie, GOP presidential candidates from far and wide, all of them right here in Orlando for this Sunshine Summit. No one's going to pass up the chance to stake their claim to Florida's big electoral prize next year, and they know this is one of the pivotal battleground states. They'll be talking issues and have talked issues like immigration, like the national debt, on and on and on, taking their stands. No surprises here. They're playing to their crowd here today, so you're not hearing anything that is a surprise on the issue, although you've seen some dust-ups this week about who's more conservative or less. Marco Rubio, the Miami U.S. Senator, and a bit of a argument back and forth with Ted Cruz. Any moment now, we're expecting former Florida Governor Jeb Bush to speak. Mr. Rubio was criticized on, among other things, immigration. The argument was that a few years ago, he was part of a Senate group that had worked to allow legal status eventually for people who had come to the U.S. illegally. Ted Cruz said no amnesty for anybody, essentially said Marco Rubio was soft on that. Senator Rubio addressed that question late this afternoon to reporters.
Everybody running for president on the Republican side, in one way or shape, supports some form or fashion the legalization of people that are in this country illegally. The debate is, what's the most responsible way to do that? And I've outlined it. It begins with border security and ensuring illegal immigration is under control.
We will finally secure the borders and end sanctuary cities.
Ted Cruz did not take on Marco Rubio directly on their running feud here about conservatism and immigration. But I bring in Brian Crowley now as we wait for Jeb Bush to arrive. And Brian, it's like being on To The Point on the road with you, our political analyst. As much as issues, people are trying to get a sense of the dynamism of the campaign. With that in mind, first, your quick thumbnail critique, Marco Rubio.
You know, I think what Marco Rubio brought to the room is what he always brings to the room, a great sense of energy. And I think that's a lot of what this crowd is looking for.
Jeb Bush, what will you look for just minutes away?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. This is the Republican Party that Jeb Bush grew. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not they still think he's a front runner, somebody that they love and adore, or whether or not they think it's time to move on.
And that in a state that, as you said to me a little while ago, in a state where he's trailing, in the state where he helped engender and enliven this party, can he still make headway?
Tonight's going to be very important to him with the Republican Party faithful. These are the purists.
And very briefly, we're still to see Donald Trump in about an hour or so, and then Ben Carson. First, Mr. Carson.
Well, Ben Carson has been interesting watching. There's a life-size cutout of him over there down the hall, and lots of people are posing to have pictures taken with him. I think there's an affection for Carson, but whether or not it translates into votes later on, I'm not sure.
And Donald Trump, a lot of staying power atop or near atop the polls.
Well, Donald Trump went into some kind of a raging 95-minute speech last night that's causing a little bit of buzz around the halls here. We'll see whether or not he's a calm Donald Trump or a little on fire at his next speech.
And as you look live, and we'll also go to our feed, we see former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, Brian, taking the podium here, all right on time, big smile on his face among the Republican faithful here in Florida. Let's listen in for just a brief moment to former Governor Jeb Bush.
Florida wins. We win because we're united. We win because we believe in conservative principles and we apply them consistently. We elect principle-centered leaders as governors and speakers and presidents and people like Jeff Atwater as a CFO, and they do their jobs, and people like it. And even though there are more Democrats in this state than Republicans, we win. And I'm proud of that. And talking about winning, I want to win this election in November of 2016 to restore America's greatness again. That's what we need to do. We need to have a candidate that has a proven record, a candidate that has a proven record that has applied.
Jeb Bush speaking live, talking about his record, trying to fire up the crowd here. Again, the Florida faithful, his home base, but he needs to do everything he can to try to revitalize that base. As you look at him over my shoulder here, speaking live to the assembled here, several hundred in that room. We'll have more on what he has to say beginning at 5. For now, reporting live from Orlando, I'm Michael Williams. Back to you.
Michael, thank you.